Malta fails to qualify for the Eurovision Song Contest Grand Final. An overspeeding trailer narrowly avoids head-on collision in Halfar. And the St. Julians Mayor claims the PN undermined his election campaign. All this and more on Lovin Daily. Good evening, Malta and Gozo. Welcome to another episode of Lovin Daily. My name is Yannick. With me is Diacono. We're going to be running you through today's top stories, starting with the main story of the day, Malta's failure to reach the Eurovision Song Contest final.
Yeah, big disappointment. I mean, as you know, Malta has failed to qualify for Saturday's Eurovision Grand Final. To be fair, it wasn't a big surprise. The odds are pointing in that direction, but it's obviously still a disappointment when you watch the semi-final and the votes are being read out, or the qualified countries are being read out, and Malta's left in the dark. Now, the regular national inquest has been held, or is being held, and many reasons are being given for this disappointment. From Emma's voice not being good enough on the night, to the quality of the song itself being very mediocre, to the people who are always there behind the scenes, but are somehow never held accountable. And, of course, Malta's bad luck in being an island and not having any friends and neighbours to support it. I mean, I'm sure there are many reasons. I don't think it's a single particular reason, but my 2 cents is this. To win the Eurovision, you need to stand out. You need to be good, you need to be confident, and you need to be original, the most important thing. This is something I feel is sorely lacking in Malta. We have loads of experts who believe they can craft the perfect recipe, so to speak, the winning recipe to win the Eurovision. But at the end of the day, it really does boil down to good old, simple-fashioned creativity. And the sooner we realize this, the better of a chance we have to go far in the Eurovision.
Yeah, I think it's to a certain extent natural that people are disappointed and they voice their disappointment. But from the little that I've seen, I think many people have voiced similar points to what you've raised about the song. So hopefully, maybe next year we'll see. And on to our next story. It's a story from Malta's roads. Familiar one, unfortunately. Alarming footage has emerged showing a cargo trailer over-speeding and overtaking along the Halfar Road and narrowly missing, avoiding rather a head-on collision which could have had fatal consequences. The dashcam footage, which was shared with Lovin Malta, shows a vehicle driving along Halfar and suddenly one can see this trailer come out from the lane and start driving towards it, coming straight to it. The trailer misses the vehicle by just a few inches. Speaking to Lovin Malta, the driver expressed their shock and basically said, at a point they thought they'd never see their family again. The footage is quite scary, especially when considering the size of the vehicle. Malta has had 13 traffic fatalities already this year. We're already at a number higher than all of last year combined. So one hopes that videos like this will serve as a reminder to people to be careful on the roads. It's not something that should be taken lightly.
Yeah, the video is available to view on lovinmalta.com. I mean, and the driver has been suspended by the company, it must be noted, pending a further investigation into what happened exactly and why he chose to switch lanes so dangerously. But yes, you're driving along that road. It's a very peaceful country road. You probably might have one hand on the wheel, like relaxed, listening to music. All of a sudden, this beast of a vehicle comes speeding headfirst towards you. So
and there's nothing you can do.
And nothing you can do about it unless you want to. Drive into the grass? I don't know, but it's a split-second moment as well. Another big story of the day, St. Julians Mayor Albert Buttigieg is going on a warpath against the Nationalist Party, stunningly accusing them of having secretly worked with one of Malta's major business players to undermine his election campaign. So today Buttigieg wrote an opinion piece on the Times of Malta saying that a long-standing acquaintance of his recently informed him that a meeting took place at the beginning of the year between an unnamed PN official and a so-called fat cat, which is a reference to a big businessman who he said has vast commercial and construction interests in St. Julian's. And Alwal Buttigieg has gained quite a reputation in his town of being very vociferous against overdevelopment, even calling out developers by name, joining protests. And the allegation is that this particular businessman was annoyed that Buttigieg wanted to shut him up, and the PN official agreed to work against him. And Buttigieg is linking this to how he felt he was undermined internally during the election campaign, how he wasn't given much space on the party's media or on the campaign road, and he's asking whether the two events are linked. Now, what I think is most important and also dangerous over here is the way the party has reacted to these claims. So rather than investigate it, as you'd expect would happen, the party has hauled Buttigieg himself in front of a party commission to substantiate his claims. So basically treating him like he's doing something wrong by daring to make this accusation against the party, by tarnishing the party's name and telling him, put up or shut up. Basically, it sounds like a threat to the mayor. Honestly, it does. Reveal, the two options are these. Reveal your source, who told you this, because how else are you going to substantiate it? Or be punished. It's also going to have quite a chilling effect on other critics, I suppose, and that's the reason why it's happening, which is pretty dangerous, to be honest. And Alwal Buttigieg is not backing down and saying, look, I'm not going to resign. I'm not going to reveal my source. If you want to punish me. I'm not taking this. I'm not going to backtrack.
Yeah, it's sad to see, especially after the election, to see all these stories of candidates claiming that the party worked against them. In this case, as you said, the mayor is known to be to defend the issues of when there's abuses with construction and similar issues, and one would think that there's no reason for him to lie. But as you said, I mean, ultimately it's up to the party to investigate the allegations and get to the bottom of it, so that everyone can have peace of mind that this does not occur. Especially since, let's face it, the suggestion that someone might have asked the party not to support a candidate because of a personal interest isn't one that we can't believe in this country. Yeah. So hopefully, especially for the PN's sake and for democracy's sake, they should investigate the claims and give people peace of mind that this does not happen. On to our next story. It's a related story. The government has announced that demolition and excavation works on sites falling within tourism areas will be banned between the 15th June and the 13th September this year. The announcement came today. Basically, there's a whole list of streets in localities such as Sliema, Birgum, Saskala, and various other localities around the island where demolition and excavation works will not be allowed during the summer months. The idea is obviously, in the summer months there's lots of tourists in Malta, and the country needs to have a good tourism product, and no one enjoys visiting a country and having very loud demolition excavation going on right next door. A full list of the localities can be found on the Malta Tourism Authority website. The news obviously will be welcomed by I guess everyone. We often talk about overdevelopment and the problems caused. Obviously, one hopes that the rules will actually be enforced. This is in the first year that these rules have come into force, but sadly, tendency has been that despite the rules, we still get reports of demolition going on here and there. So hopefully this year will be different, and we'll have proper enforcement of these rules. Anyone that basically encounters people breaking the rules is being advised to contact the Building and Construction Authority for them to take action. And also requests for streets to be added to next year's lists are being received. And if you know of a street which isn't on the list and which you think should be, you're being urged to contact the Malta Tourism Authority or the local council.
So if you see demolition and excavation in these streets, make sure to report it, and also ideally to check out whether they're actually enforcing
Yeah.
it or not, and feel free to contact us at Lovin Malta for any developments. Finally, good news: Malta has kept its top spot in the ILGA ranking for LGBT rights for the 7th consecutive year. The index, which is published by ILGA, an international LGBT plus lobby group, ranked Malta 92% in terms of how friendly it is to LGBT people. They went into quite a lot of detail, going into key areas from society to policy, legislation. And 92% is extremely high, higher than any other European country, something which, let's not forget, would have been unthinkable not too long ago, certainly in our lifetimes. They do have a little bit of criticism, which is, or rather advice, which is if Malta wants to increase its ranking, it should invest more in GU clinics, which it definitely should, revamp its old sexual health policy, which hasn't been updated in a decade, and which is certainly due an update, and repeal the blood donation ban on gay men. But yeah, all things to be discussed, but 92% is cause for celebration.
Yeah, it's great to see, especially when you consider that over the past few years has been Malta hasn't placed very well in other rankings, for example, breastfeeding rankings and others related to the rule of law. So I guess we can always celebrate when there's some good news coming our way. So that's it from us tonight. Thank you very much for watching, and have an evening full of lovin'.